Hey everyone, I wanted to do a quick video just to answer someone's question. How much do bearded dragons need to be eating every day? And that's a really good question, and a lot of people don't know. Sometimes you go to the pet store and they give you great information, and sometimes they give you nothing. So just an example. This is what I use to feed my adult dragon, my adult dragon Murray, and the juvenile Naaman. This dish is for Naaman, this is for Murray. So just to give you an example of how far, the diameter of these little dishes. Now these are saucers for espresso cups. If you're shopping for any kind of saucer and you see espresso cups, this is the size of the saucers that go with them, roughly 5 inches across, about 12.5 centimeters, or, see my hand? A little bigger than my palm. If you don't carry a ruler with you into the store, or if you want a ruler in the store, go to the office section and get you a ruler and carry it over to the dishes. But that's about the size. I think I've got that about right. Yep. If you're a big dude, maybe the palm of your hand. But if you're curious, imagine a bearded dragon's stomach about the size of a golf ball, if it's an adult. Okay, so if this plate is chewed up, see, it's not super loaded down, but if it's chewed up, that might be roughly the size of a golf ball. But that's plenty for Murray to get full, and maybe then some. He usually eats about half of this and then comes back and finishes it later. If you're leaving for the day, this would be a good size to leave for them. You might put more in the dish just in case they want it later. Naaman is juvenile, so this is about how much she gets, maybe half of it. I want her to have as much as she wants because I'm tapering her off of bugs. But for those of you who have tiny dragons or juvenile dragons, just imagine, or you could look up a diagram on Google with the anatomy of a bearded dragon and see how big their stomach is. Now, we know not to feed bugs that are wider than the bearded dragon's eyes are. They got to be able to swallow it, and that's a good gauge. But imagine filling up, like a juvenile bearded dragon might not have a golf ball sized stomach. They might eat a lot, but maybe a large marble would be a better gauge for them. And you need to cut things up much smaller for them as well so they can chew it and get it down without choking, because they can choke, believe me, they can. So as far as how many bugs, this was the question I got. It was on someone else's video talking about how many crickets to feed a bearded dragon. She said 100. I have no idea where she got that information, but I commented on that video, and not sure she's even making videos anymore. A lot of people, they struggle with their dragons and they never really find good info. The dragon dies in a couple years and that's it. And they don't realize part of the problem was not feeding them enough and not putting the sprinkles on. I've got calcium powder without vitamin D because I have a T5 UVB bulb. Sometimes I give it with the D3, but maybe once a week or something. And I also have Rapashi's Beardy Buffet just kind of sprinkled on top. Once a week I do a vitamin powder. A couple times a week I might do probiotics. But this is the size. If you got a tiny dragon, you're going to need more than a bug a day. The last time I was at my vet, she said someone had a bearded dragon there that was very sick, very underweight, and they had only been feeding 1 superworm a day. That is not enough. Look at these plates, okay? If you've got an adult dragon, they don't need to be eating just superworms. 10% of their diet can be bugs. Most of their diet needs to be greens, and these are cut up zucchini. 1 worm a day is not good enough. 100 crickets a day, if you've got an adult and you're going the route of headed towards liver failure, you want to feed them all bugs every day. For one, crickets aren't even a good source of nutrition. 100 a day, that's I don't even think an adult could be eating that much unless they're really overweight. I don't know. But I just wanted to give you folks an example and just kind of answer that question, because it was a good question. It's hard to know. They're tiny creatures. How much do they eat? Just look at them and imagine about the size of a golf ball in their abdomen. That's about how much they can eat. So the size of the bugs, you get smaller bugs for smaller dragons, so the number of them is going to depend. Just imagine how much could fill up like a large marble, and give them that. And if they're growing, they might do well to eat a little bit more later in the day, if they want it. They usually don't eat past being full. They're not people. Now, we've got a lot of overweight dragons in the US, and that is a story for another time. But this is about not feeding them enough. So you got to offer this food daily. If it's in the wintertime and they just don't touch it, but maybe every 4 days, then maybe try every other day putting food in there. But don't go a week. If they're not brumating, they're out, they're basking, offer them food every day, please. So that's it. If you got questions, let me know. Till next time.